getting into your off season, very much like starting a prep. If you are not in a conducive state to be able to maximize that off season or that prep, then you're already fucked. You might as well not even try. And I hate to say it like that, but like you have to do the work before you get into prep. You have to do the work before you get into off season. And the work that gets done before you get into off season is in that transitory period. So if you fuck off and gain 20 pounds of body fat before you even make it into your off season, you fucked yourself. It's going to be so much harder to gain muscle consistently without pushing your body composition into a negative range in terms of body fat percentages, right? And there is a sweet spot. There is like this golden range of body composition for men and women where you can relatively easily gain muscle mass while not putting on additional body fat. But once you get above that, body fat will run away. Every pound you add will be the majority body fat, at least as a proportion relative to, you being in that golden range. So that's why it's so important to stay relatively lean and not lose your fucking mind post show. You have to be structured. You have to be diligent. You have to be on your shit until you earn the right to be flexible. So I'm also very much a proponent of like, do not just feel like you can add in cheat meals. You can't. You cannot add in, like psychologically, you're too fragile post show to feel like you can add in cheat meals. You have to eat basically the same shit that you did during prep for quite a while until you get back to a normal place psychologically. And again, hormonally, you have to do that. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks. But you have to do the work to be able to earn eating the good food again, the tasty food again, having untracked days or untracked meals, or being able to train hard, earning that barbell in your hands again. If you don't do the work in that recovery period, you're going to fuck yourself. You're going to get hurt during the off season at some point because you never wiped the slate clean of your fatigue. You never took care of those aches and pains that were nagging you during prep. You just kept pushing through them during that, what was supposed to be your recovery phase. And you just push the issue into your off season whenever that's supposed to be your most productive training. Don't do that. It's not that hard. Don't fucking do that, right? You have to deal with issues at some point or another. You can either deal with them whenever you're trying to recover everything else, which makes the most sense, right? If you're trying to recover your metabolism, your hormones, your recover from psychological burnout, if you're trying to do all of those things, you might as well just allow your physical body to recover also. And if you need to, take a step from training your legs to allow your knees to recover, for example, well, would you rather do that in the 3-4 weeks out, or post show, or would you rather do that in the middle of your off season whenever you're eating a fuck ton? Potentially you're in the middle of like a PED cycle, right? Like, no, you want to do these things all at once, get it out of the way so that you can be extremely productive. Whenever you're training, your nutrition, your supplements have to be the most productive. They all have to be the most aligned. That was just kind of like one thing I wanted to at least end on, because it's so important. If you fuck the off season up, your prep is already ruined. If you fuck your prep up, your peak week is ruined. So nothing you can do during peak week is going to save you if you're fat. Sorry, right? If you fuck up that transition period post show, your off season is ruined. It's ruined. And it's going to be very hard to save because you're going to have to basically course correct in the middle of your off season, which means that progress is going to be much harder to come by, much slower, and potentially stagnant, right? Because if you're, for example, having to focus so hard on keeping your body fat in a healthy range to prevent yourself from getting too fat because you fucked up post show, well, you're probably going to have to do much more frequent mini diets during your off season. So rather than it being like every 16 weeks going to like a 4-week mini diet, maybe it's like every 8 weeks you have to go into a mini diet just to make sure you're not too fat. It's not good. It's not good. Same thing with recovery. If you make it 12 weeks and every 12th week you have to go into 4 weeks of, super low intensity lower body training because your knees are too beat up and they just can't take it, you're really, really screwing yourself over. I mean, in some, all of this, I think it can be really just framed from the position of like understanding what the goal is at various times during your competitive year, and understanding the goal of peak week, like what we talked about during the last episode. It's so straightforward, right? It's like you're using that as a supplement to nutrition. That's so straightforward. Don't do too much, but like you can't really fuck it up unless you are just an idiot, right? But again, understanding what that goal is. But post show training has much more of an impact because there are so many more ways that you can fuck it up. And the goal there is recovery. It's not get strong, it's not get big, it's recover. And if you happen to get strong and big as an accidental byproduct of the training that you're doing that is recovery focused, then that's awesome. That's great. That should not be the primary goal. I swear to God, that's where so many people just get it all backwards. They mess it up and they're just not understanding what you should be doing as an athlete. And as an athlete, you always have to be looking 6 months ahead, a year ahead, 2 years ahead. You have to be thinking long term if you want to be successful at this. And if you're only focused on what is going to make you look better for the selfie that you're taking after that workout, then you're not a real athlete.